Hi there, hope you're doing well. In today's video, I wanted to go over a nice way to practice the triads that kind of gets you out of being locked to a certain set of strings. Because while I think it is important to practice your triads, as in my triads videos I've outlined, in harmonized major scales going up the neck like this. I think it's really important to do that, but the other thing that I think we need to work on is moving these across the strings. So if you're looking to unlock triads across the entire neck and across all the strings, you happened upon the right video. So let's dive into it a little bit. The basic framework of this exercise, and I can't encourage you enough to do it in all 12 keys, but today we're going to just be looking at the example of C major and maybe F major, depending on how long I rant on about this, so that this video isn't 20 minutes long. And a quick side note, if you go to my website, there's a link in the description. There are free triad diagrams for all of the shapes I'm going to use in this video. But let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at how we can look at applying these triads and getting them all across the neck rather than just on certain string sets. So the principle of this practice exercise is that we're going to play 2 inversions on each set of strings, and for triads, those are 3-note chords. We have 4 different string sets that we can play these on. So those would be the E, A, and D strings, the A, D, and G strings, the D, G, and B strings, and then finally the G, B, and E strings. It's a tongue twister saying all those string names. But what we're going to do is we're going to start as low as we can and we're going to go as high as we can. And while we do it, we're going to work our way across the strings. So to give you this example in the key of C, our first kind of starting point, we want to start as low on the neck as we can on the bottom strings. And by bottom, I mean lowest in pitch, because highest in pitch is kind of the bottom of the guitar. Sometimes my students get confused by that. When I say the bottom, I mean low in terms of pitch. So that would be this 5th and bass C major triad. I've got 3, 3, 2. Now this is going to jump up to a root position C major triad. So I'm going to go there to 8, 7, 5. And now I've played 2 triads on this set of string, 2 inversions of the same triad. So 5th and bass, root position. Now my 3rd and bass, rather than going up here to where I would play that 3rd and bass, I'm going to jump to my A string. So I go from here to 8, 7, 5 to 7, 5, 5. This is C major with the 3rd and the bass. Now I'm going to jump up to the 10th fret, and I've got 10, 10, 9. I've played my 2 inversions on this set of strings. So now from this 5th and bass chord, I jump to a root position chord. And then from here, I'm going to go up to a 3rd and bass chord. So here's, and I'll give you frets again, sorry. So this is 10, 9, 8. Again, you can download diagrams for free from my website. If we go up to this 3rd and bass, this is 14, 12, 13. Then I've done my 2 triads on this set of strings. So now I go to 5th and bass from this 3rd and bass. That's going to give me 12, 13, 12. And then finally, we end up way up here. It's hard on an acoustic guitar, but I can wrangle my hands around. So this is 17, 17, 15. And now what we do, we've climbed the mountain. We want to climb it back. So I go from here to here, which is 12, 13, 12. Now I go down to 14, 12, 13 on the next set of strings. Then I'm root position with 10, 9, 8. Then I fall down to 5th and bass with 10, 10, 9, 7, 5, 5. This is 3rd and bass. Then I fall down to root position. And then I fall down to here. So this whole exercise helps you. Again, it's really hard on an acoustic without a cutaway to reach up there, but this whole exercise kind of serves to get you playing these triads across the neck rather than kind of locked in strings, because it's something that the guitar is a very hard and confusing instrument to learn because it's kind of a matrix unto itself already. And I hate the idea that sometimes guitar students practice, like we think in terms of the guitar rather than in terms of music, and I know that that is sometimes essential. but I think it's also quite often a hindrance. So this kind of gets you playing across the strings. And something that my students sometimes point out is, well, Matt, if you do only 2 inversions per string, then you miss an inversion on each set of strings. And that is totally true, and that's why it's important to work it around the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths, depending on the direction you go. I tend to always go to the left of the circle counterclockwise. So from C, I would go to F, and some people in the comments like to argue that I'm going around the circle of fourths. I think the circle of fifths is the circle of fifths either way you look at it. In one, it's climbing fifths, and then in the other, it's resolving fifths, such as C goes to F, goes to B flat, goes to E flat, goes to A flat. So if you're coming for me in the comments for saying that it's the circle of fifths, don't bother. So if we go to the key of F, my lowest triad that's kind of comfortable to play is going to be a third and bass. And if you notice, this is the inversion that we missed when we did C. We went from fifth and bass to root position. So now when we go around the circle of fifths, we end up with a third and bass going to a fifth and bass. And so quickly I'll run, well, probably not too quickly because I'll be telling you these voicings as I go. But we'll do it in the key of F and you'll see. So I got third and bass F major on my bottom 3 strings, which is 5, 3, 3. Then I'll go to a fifth and bass shape on those strings, so this is 8, 8, 7. Now here I end up going to a root position chord, which is going to be 8, 7, 5. Now it's going to jump up to a third and bass, which is going to be 12, 10, 10. This is going to go to a fifth and bass chord, which is going to be 10, 10, 10, root position, sorry, had a mental lag. We go to fifth and bass, so 10, 10, 10. That is going to go to a third and bass, which is fifth and bass, it's going to go to root in bass, which is 15, 14, 13. Now here, we take the leap to the next set of strings, and from root position, we're going to end up with a third and bass chord, which is going to look like this, where we get 14, 13, 13, and then this is going to be a really, really big reach for me, but hopefully you're on an electric guitar where this is maybe a little bit more manageable, and we end up on 17, 18, 17 with this third and bass, fifth and bass, sorry, misspoke, F major chord, and then of course we work our way down, so we go from here, it becomes 14, 13, 13, onto our next set of strings we go, we get 15, 14, 13, then we're going to go down again, and this is going to take us to this 10, 10, 10, then we get third and bass, which is 12, 10, 10, then we go down to this root position, which is 8, 7, 5. Then we're going to get 8, 8, 5, or 8, 8, 7, fifth and bass, and then we end up down where we started. And we can, of course, continue this, we can continue this through the other 10 keys that there are. And this, again, is really an exercise that's kind of geared towards getting you to see these across the neck rather than just in the fancy, neat little boxes of staying exactly in the same inversion on the same strings. Again, you can download for free diagrams from my website on all of these triads that I used today. And of course, we only looked at major triads, but you can, of course, do this with minor and diminished triads. I strongly encourage you to do them with minor and diminished triads, but it'd be a very long video, so maybe I'll do another one to follow up on that. But anyways, that's it for me today. If you enjoyed the video and this exercise, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It helps me out more than you could know. If you'd like to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to the contact page on my website down in the description. I'd absolutely love to work with you. I've been working with a bunch of guys from YouTube lately, and it's been really fun to connect with you all over the world. And lastly, I'll wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you get to have some fun playing the guitar. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.